your brain, you're in the nuts domain. Come on in, it's about to begin.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Nerds Domain podcast. I'm here with Shirley.
Hello.
And I'm Matt. And this week it's an immediate movie review of the movie Criminal,
Woohoo!
starring Kevin Costner and Gary Oldman, with Gal Gadot and Tommy Lee Jones.
Ryan Reynolds.
We got a little bit of Ryan Reynolds in there. And then some other people that were kind of cool to see. Alice Eve is in it.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's that girl from that thing.
That girl.
Yeah, I don't really like her name.
Who's that girl?
Anyway.
That girl?
And the guy that looks like a slightly weird what's his name? Leonardo DiCaprio. He was the Dutchman.
Oh, he was in one of my favorite movies, Numbers.
Yeah, he was
with Ryan Gosling and Sandra Bullock.
Sorry, his name is Michael Pitt. He's been in a lot of stuff, but yeah, I don't remember where I first saw him, but he always looks a little.
Is he a Brad Pitt?
No, I don't think so. He's British.
Oh, no.
Criminal is a spy movie, sort of. I mean, it very much is a spy movie, but it takes a little bit of a twist. What we're going to do is we're going to talk briefly about it before we get into spoilers. We'll let you know before we get into spoilers, but those are going to come up. So we'll warn you before we get there, but we'll go ahead and get started. So in a last-ditch effort to stop a diabolical plot, a dead CIA operative's memories, skills, and secrets are implanted into a death row inmate in hope that he will complete the operative's mission. I didn't realize that he was a death row inmate. I knew that he was being held and specifically like.
They never said that.
They may have, but I don't remember seeing or hearing it. So we went and saw this movie at Flick's Brewhouse.
Yes.
Which, if you're not familiar with Flick's, it's a it's a reserved seating and also food and alcohol serving movie theater. They don't allow texting. I'm actually surprised the guy next to us didn't get in trouble for using his phone as a light. They don't allow texting. They don't allow actual talking during the movies. They're very, very focused on an experience for the people going. We used to go to Studio Movie Girl for the same thing. Their quality here in Indianapolis went down a little bit, so we started to go to Flick's. Flick's is also a brew house. They have their own brewery there.
Yes. Which is really cool to watch. Yeah. And the beers that we've had there, we made, even if we didn't care for them, they weren't bad. They were good. They were just not our flavor. I'm not a hoppy person.
Yeah, I'm not much of a hoppy person either.
I know you're not.
Yeah. So, Criminal has some big name stars in it. I mean, it's got Kevin Costner as the main character. He is essentially an emotionless psychopath.
No. Well, I think he's what they would consider a sociopath.
That's the word I meant to use, not psychopath. But you're absolutely right. Yeah.
I guess this is kind of a spoiler. Well, anyway, having a head injury early in life, he lost frontal lobe
development abilities. He doesn't develop emotions towards people. He has anger occasionally. Yeah. Rage. I wouldn't even say anger. He has rage.
But it's just.
But he has no ability to see the consequence of the action he's going to take, which makes him very dangerous.
No, he has the inability to even comprehend any consequence.
So there's a part where, like, he starts choking a driver of a car, and the car crashes because he doesn't think about that. He knows that he just wants to kill the guy. He doesn't think about the impending wreck.
Right.
So Ryan Reynolds plays this Billy Pope, the CIA operative. He dies early in the movie. It felt very spy. It was clearly that they were going through a lot of the spy tropes, but they were done well. And then this whole switching brains thing was interesting and new, and I liked that quite a bit. The concept was at least felt unique and was nice. It reminded me a little bit of the Jason Bourne stuff, but from a different angle.
Right.
Well, at least the first movie. Later in the movies, he's on top of everything. But that first Jason Bourne movie, what was it, Bourne Identity? Yes.
I do not.
Yeah, it's Bourne Identity. the Born Identity, that felt a lot like that. Not that it was a bad thing, because it wasn't. It had that feel. And as we went through it, we got good acting for Kevin Costner.
Definitely.
As he played essentially two characters.
Mm-hmm.
He played Billy Pope, and then he played Jericho. I don't remember Jericho's first name. I guess I could look at that.
But it was Jericho.
Was it? Was it just
they
Jericho?
They just called him Jericho. I think maybe at the beginning of the movie, when you saw his file, they may have said his whole name.
Jericho Stewart. I do remember Stewart now. So, yeah. But he plays Jericho Stewart, has no empathy and no emotions and no connection. And he has the memories and the brain processes and skills of Billy Pope. And as he starts to assimilate those and deal with them, that's when we get to see him play both those characters in a very, at moments, torn character.
Very, because he's not understand. Well, I think what starts happening is he starts, and I feel it could have been played a little bit better in this regards, that he starts realizing all the stuff that he's done, all the murders that he's done, is like, it's wrong, because there is a point during the movie where he says, now I know what the difference between right and wrong.
Yeah. And there's a point where he makes it clear that he now understands what love is, because he never understood that emotion, that concept.
Right.
This is while he's dealing with Billy Pope's wife and child, and the development is very good. Gal Gadot, I think she's underused. I think she seemed like a perfectly good actress. I don't think I've seen her in anything else, but she is underused as an actress in this.
Fast and the Furious.
Is she? I honestly don't remember seeing her.
She's in. Is it
probably one I didn't
7?
see? Was it in the newest one?
The one where Braga, they were running the cars for Braga, and they were trying to get him.
So not the newest one.
No, not.
Okay, then I have
7.
not seen it.
So maybe it is 6.
It's not 1, 2, 3, or 7. I have not seen it.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, I'm not trying to be, but that's what I see.
God, I'm losing my Fast and Furious cred right now.
No,
this is horrible.
So she was fine. I thought Gary Oldman was a little over the top, but I think the character was over the top. So he was way too aggressive, I felt, for a CIA director or operative.
Yeah, and the thing is, I feel like he was trying to grasp off of his whoever the Commissioner Gordon.
A little bit.
From Batman. I feel like that's where he was kind of going with that, because lately all Gary Oldman has been in has been kind of these like police drama, and then Batman. I haven't really seen him in anything else.
Okay. I'm just taking a look at the last couple of movies. I honestly don't remember, because the movies he says he's known for are Batman, and Batman.
Yeah.
He was in Lego Dimensions. Oh, he was in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and RoboCop.
Right, but he was the in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Kind of the leader of Dawn, the police.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, a lot of his stuff, because I think he was in Red Riding. He was in Red Riding Hood. I think he was like the town sheriff or something there too. So I think you're right. I think there's a lot of there's a not typecasting, but he is playing a certain type.
Yeah.
Overall, I thought the story was fast when it needed to be fast. It was very well paced. When it slowed down, it should have. I thought it was handled well. Overall, I enjoyed the movie. There was nothing spectacular about it. I think Kevin Costner was good in it, and he did a good job of acting and doing everything he was doing. But there wasn't, beyond just good acting, I didn't see anything groundbreaking and amazing.
Right, yeah. It was kind of that, like I said, going out of the theater, it kind of felt like that, chasing after that impending doom, and you have to stop it. So it had that was the largest, that was the plot and the largest trope there was in it.
Yeah, it was directed by Ariel Roman, who has done some other movies, but this is really his big one. This in a movie called Iceman from 2012. So
this is kind of his break.
I don't know if it's his break. I think he's been building up, but it's definitely a big movie. It clearly had a decent sized budget. You've got big names in it. Yeah. So I think it's well handled, well done. The music fit well.
The music fit very well.
Yeah.
Like, I was subtly surprised by that.
Yeah. The only complaint I would have was that there are points when it was a clear trope, and oh no, now he has, like, he hurts his leg at one point. A little bit of spoilers there.
Yeah.
But oh, okay, yeah, we've got to put a complication on this, otherwise,
he's not going to get to where he needs to be, and
and there's not a chance to grow because he hadn't had a chance to grow until that point, and that's a catalyst for it. So, I thought the villain was a little too villainy, just over the top villainy for no reason.
That guy just plays that over the top villain all the time.
Well, he was essentially an anarchist who believed in destroying all the governments, which I don't know.
Which that kind of made me think, because he was like, okay, he wants to destroy all these governments, and to do that he has to pit them against each other, but he's also destroying humanity.
Yeah. No.
So I don't even understand how that came into play. I
don't know. He was a little over the top, and the MacGuffin that they were trying to stop him from getting was a little. It was science that didn't make a ton of sense. Like, you can't just hack into something and always have the hacking code. They'll just change the codes.
Right, but I think that's what made the Dutchman so amazing, because he could always do that.
Well, no, but he wrote a program to do it, which that doesn't make sense because you just, I don't know. Anyway,
alone.
It doesn't matter. It's not that big of a deal. It's just, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. Overall, though, I think this is for me, it's a solid 3.5. It's a good movie. It's not great. It's good. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think it would definitely be a 33.5 for me.
If you like a Bourne Identity, if you like a good spy movie, we saw a clip out of Spy Game last night. We went to watch that today. If you like Spy Game, this is your kind of thing.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Spy Game, we really enjoyed that as well. But it has the typical spy things, fast car chases, gun battles,
fights.
Dead drops and secret places and that kind of stuff. It was all fun, but it's not like groundbreaking and spectacular. Something I think if you like a good spy movie, go see it. If you enjoy a decent action movie, this one's not bad. You might want to consider renting it instead of going straight to the theater, but that's just what I feel. Do you agree?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So we are going to get into a little bit of spoilers on this. So if you don't want to be spoiled, now is the time to walk away. All right, I've given you plenty of time. So, as far as Tommy Lee Jones is great in this movie. I think he plays a lot of the same thing he played in Fugitive, that other movie where he's a lawyer.
He's a lawyer?
Yeah. Or
I felt like he played a little bit of the same personality type as Men in Black.
A little bit. He's good. I mean, he's just a MacGuffin deliverer in this. He sets up the brain transfer. He's the doctor for that.
Yeah.
I think he does a good job. I think he's actually one of the more sympathetic towards the protagonist. One of the characters is more sympathetic towards the protagonist.
Yeah, and that's explained when he talks about what actually happened to Jericho.
Well, and I think he just, this is his life's work. At one point he says he's been working on it 18 years.
Right.
So he wants it to succeed and wants to know how that works. Kevin Costner, I think, is great. The cutting his leg when he was swimming out of the car. I was like, really, guys? But I see why they did it and what they developed out of it. He's lucky he didn't just get straight shot.
Yeah.
But he was fine. I really found the two characters that I really found irritating were Gary Oldman and the Spanish anarchist. I felt that Gary Oldman was way too aggressive, overly, fastly aggressive for no reason whatsoever.
Well, I think the destruction of the world is a pretty big thing to be aggressive over.
But if you're a CIA operative, this is my full and complete understanding of the CIA. So just trust me. When you're a CIA operative, you approach a situation with an unstable source. You do it in a much calmer manner. You don't just go into the room and give me the information, Jericho. Give me the information. When they had him captured and they were showing him pictures of the family, he pushes the thing out of the way and immediately starts grilling him. That's not that you would be trained to handle that. And as a director or whatever he was heading this operation. He would have handled that much differently.
Yeah, I felt like
those two scenes were a little over the top. Not the second one as much as the first one when he first comes out of surgery, because first of all, he doesn't know the technology.
Yeah.
Unless he did like uber research while they were doing the surgery.
Well, but he makes it clear during that time he doesn't know anything about it. He says, "I don't know anything about this. What do you mean? What are you doing here?" Like he
right. And second, if he knows anything about major brain surgery, he would have needed to be, let know.
Yeah.
That happened.
Yeah. Well, you have to understand that when somebody has brain surgery, just period, you need to give them a little bit of time.
Right, and that's what I was saying. As a director of the CIA, he would have had to have known those two things and then been able to go in there in a different way. It just seemed like really over the top and confusing to me that if they just gave it a little bit of time, because he expected it to be like a miracle cure, right?
Yeah.
There, he expected when Jericho woke up to be Pope, but that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and it felt like he would have listened to the doctor at bare minimum, and he didn't.
Right.
He didn't.
No, not at all. Not at all. And it seems like if you're going to have an expert in a field come in and do something, you're going to listen to that expert of the field.
Yeah. And the anarchist was he was evil for evil's sake. I felt, and I hate that kind of. I hate that kind of villain. I really cannot stand that. I want to destroy the world so that everything can be in chaos. Like, who really wants that? You know what I mean?
Obviously that guy.
Yeah, obviously.
I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. There's probably a lot of bad people out there that, want to start wars and keep everybody in chaos just so. I have no idea. Like, for me, it doesn't make any sense, but I'm sure for somebody it makes some sort of sense.
Yeah.
And he had his reasoning for it.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like the little girl was just fine as an actress. I don't think.
I think she did really well.
Yeah. So Billy Pope has a daughter and a wife, and the little girl did just fine.
Mm-hmm.
There was. It wasn't like a spectacular, like tear jerking acting, but she followed through with all of her lines. She was very, very believable. She felt just right in the movie. There was a moment where they were going to bury her elephant, and that was like this weird, heartwarming but very morbid scene because her dad died. Her dad gave her the elephant, and her dad, in this other guy's body that she didn't realize was the case,
right,
was helping her bury this elephant. It was heartwarming to see Jericho connecting in such a way,
right, and
seeing this girl try and deal with her father's death, but at the same time, like, he's dealing with his own death with his daughter. It was
right
really
beside
weird.
him.
Yeah. I don't know. So the little girl was fine. Gal Gadot, I think she was underutilized in the movie.
Right.
She could have. There's more that we could have gotten out of her. This is actually her second movie this month to come out, because she's in Batman vs Superman as Wonder Woman.
As Wonder Woman.
So, like, the fact that she has two movies right in a row, that's positive.
Mm-hmm.
I hope she gets more work in big names movies like this, because she deserves it. She does just fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that she got enough screen time here. There were some good scenes from her, but I just feel like she was a supporting character, and she could have been
much more.
Yeah. I mean, even with some tweaking, I feel like with some tweaking in the script, she could have been a main character.
Right.
They didn't make her.
She could have played a bigger role in the library scene.
Yeah. Well, and they didn't. They made her a victim, but never because she was too weak.
Right.
She was caught off guard. He climbed in, or he came in her room and taped her up.
Yeah.
Which there's not much you could do at that point.
Right. But she did get free at one point.
Well, and she alerted the CIA, and then she fought, and then she got a gun. She wasn't afraid to confront him, which I like when, she was a victim at one point, but she was not going to put up with this.
Right.
She saved her daughter. It wasn't some weird daughter saved herself or something. Like, she made sure that she put herself between the bad guy and her daughter. So I really appreciate that. But at the same time, she allowed there to be some heartwarming scenes later in the movie as Jericho deals with Pope being in his head.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought she was good. The head evil operative girl who was played by Alice Eve. I didn't get any feeling for her. She had no real personality.
What else has she been in?
Star Trek. She was in Star Trek Wrath of Khan. Star Trek Into Darkness. That was not on purpose.
I still don't.
She was the main girl, the scientist.
She was
she was the Admiral's daughter, yeah.
She has totally different hair.
Yeah, very, very different.
It changed her facial features totally.
It does box up her face a little differently.
Yeah, I didn't even recognize her. And the thing is, usually with faces, I'm pretty good about going, oh, that's that one chick from that one movie. I did not even get a semblance of
she was
recognition.
In Men in Black 3. Not that I remember in that. But yeah, when she has, because there she is with long blonde hair, but that makes her look kind of a weird split between Into Darkness and what we saw in this, because she had like red hair, like blackish red hair.
I thought she at one point of a glance when they showed her, I thought it was Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, there was a little bit of that.
I didn't know she was, and then realized that it wasn't her.
She just didn't have a lot of personality, and that's fine, but I like my villains to have a little personality and have reasons for doing it. We had no reason other than
she was following his orders.
Well, and the anarchist was her boyfriend or husband or whatever they were. They were romantically involved.
Right.
And I'm all for that, but if you're going to have a main henchman, let's give them a little personality. Yeah. The script didn't do that. Action sequences were good. Mm-hmm. I liked everything I saw there. The story was solid. The directing, as we said earlier, was solid. The slow points were slow, but
for a reason.
Yeah. And even when they were slow, they were still giving us a lot.
Yes.
The fast parts were hectic and fast, but not. Bourne Identity has some problems, and I keep comparing them, but only because this feels a little bit like that. Mm-hmm. Bourne Identity has some flash problems.
Right.
This didn't have that as much. It seemed like those were not as many and as often. So that was positive. I like that.
I feel like the way that the movie flowed, what was I going to say? The way that the movie flowed, it definitely felt like, it was building the story of his transition.
Yeah.
Possibly. Because when he walked into the shawarma joint or whatever that was, and he grabbed the burrito or whatever he grabbed, and then everybody was just like, okay, I'm backing off. I was just like, wow. Because there were the scenes like that kind of kept me on the edge of my seat of, okay, how is he going to progress next?
Well, and you've got two stories. You've got the plain spy story, and then you've got the story of him developing and dealing with this personality in his head.
Right.
Neither one of them ended up being a side story. They developed together, which that has, I'm sure there are some issues there that can make it very difficult as a scriptwriter, but they did pretty well with that. It went through the process correctly, so that didn't feel like either one was tugging at the other and they were fighting for anything. They just intermingled very well.
It felt like a waltz. They were dancing. They were dancing together. They were progressing together, and it was a good flow.
Yeah.
Whoever I don't know, because I don't follow directors and producers like you do, but they married both of the stories very well to where they flowed effortlessly.
And they were dependent on each other. When one halted, the other one halted because you couldn't have one without the other. So it went very, very well together. I liked it quite a bit for the story. Special effects were on par. Yeah. I mean, there wasn't anything.
Spy movie,
There wasn't anything that was like, ooh, wow, but this was good. This is all good.
Yeah.
The music was good. You thought the music was above average.
Yeah, well, I think it was on par for the movie. It lent to the scenes, the type of music that were in the separate scenes were good. Yeah. All the 007s kind of use that classical type of music, not really anything that's modern. And this kind of used a little bit of both.
This one had some it wasn't techno or dance, but it had that kind of beat to it, which is what you want from your action movies, something that keeps it moving and feels like that. As far as the climax of the movie, because there are really kind of two. There's a climax and then like a prologue almost.
Right.
The climax felt a little short, but should have been. I mean, it was a very deadly climax, and at this point, Jericho is starting to lose Billy Pope to the point that he can't even remember his own daughter's name, or Billy Pope's daughter's name.
Right.
And
that's what the doctor said would happen.
Yeah.
Over 48 hours, it would totally be gone.
Yeah. So like watching that progression was weird. I didn't like the bad guy got away in the plane, but then we learned that why that wasn't that big of a deal because essentially Jericho throws the program's on a thumb drive, and he throws the thumb drive into the plane. The bad guy's going to get away, and so that he'll release the daughter. Right. The daughter gets away, it's safe, and the guy takes off on the plane. But like the bad guy got away with the worm, and everyone shows up, and Gary Oldman's character is
like
furious,
overreacting again. Yeah.
And Jericho explains in his very halting verbiage because he had that a lot.
Remember?
Well, no, even before that, when he talked, he was very halting, like he didn't have a developed vocabulary.
Right.
So he explains that the Dutchman, who was the programmer, he had reprogrammed the worm so that the first time it was used, whatever was launched would go straight to the program. Which,
wherever the code or came from.
So, that was interesting. Other than there's probably not Wi-Fi on that plane to be able to connect to the internet and tell it to launch.
He had a lot of money, so.
That's true.
He had a hotspot.
Yeah. It was so it ends with the bad guy getting blown up out of the plane, which I'm good with. I'm perfectly fine with. And then the prologue is Jericho on a beach, and the doctor's explaining that he may still have Pope in him, and if Pope is there, he'll have taken over the personality.
Yeah, but the thing is, what they were trying to do at the end when he got shot and they were trying to save him is that remember the doctor was saying, if you get to him right now, I can freeze it.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, we didn't get to see that aspect of the technology in Jericho's brain.
Right.
And how they actually got him to keep that.
I don't know that we needed it, but I get what you're saying. Like the end scene is the mother, Gal Gadot, and the daughter coming out to Jericho on the beach where he married, or Billy Pope married her. And they're reintroducing Jericho to all these things that should stimulate Billy Pope.
Right.
And it does, and we learn that Billy Pope is there and has taken over, and he's going to be offered a position by Gary Oldman.
Right.
In the CIA, which.
But they didn't know that this would work.
They were concerned.
Sitting there with having a conversation, or standing there having a conversation, saying that the doctor was like, I'm not sure if this will work. Yeah. Nothing. He hasn't reacted to anything else.
Yeah.
And even the soldiers with the
automatic
guns
were a lot of them.
Kind of very tense situation where they weren't sure how he was going to react to Emma and her mom.
Yeah, whose name we don't know, obviously.
I remember the mom's name.
Overall, the prologue felt good. It was a little cheesy and emotional. Not bad. I thought the movie was fine. The 3.5, I stand by that pretty solidly. It's good. There's some tropiness in it, which
definitely, but I think that lends to it.
Well, and they're hitting a lot of the same strides that other spy movies are going to hit, but they're spy movies. That's why you go see them. So that's kind of why.
I think it's definitely an interesting take.
Yeah, absolutely.
On what was going on, and what I found was interesting was when Jericho, quote unquote, goes off the reservation, and the Gary Oldman's character is like, I still don't understand why he didn't have a SEAL team member do this. And what I don't think his character grasped about the technology was that they needed somebody with frontal lobe damage or dead, or it wasn't being used. It had to be memories could not have been introduced to the right the right hemisphere of his brain in the frontal lobe, and it actually worked. It had to be not in use.
It's like Gary Oldman didn't listen. It's really what it came down to, because the doctor explained it like 3 times to us. Right. I'm sure that he explained it a little more, and that Gary Oldman, I don't know if he was a director, but he was heading up the CIA in London.
Oh, he was heading up that operation at least.
Well, like he wouldn't have read the report. If that's what they're going to do, like, how do you not read that report? But whatever, okay, fine. It was a little frustrating, but you deal with it.
It was hard to, especially in this day and age where people are over informed about things, to have that suspension of disbelief that this guy would just not do his homework.
Well, and if he was like, I don't understand how you're doing it, but I understand what you're doing, like, that would be fine.
Right.
If he's like, well, why does he have to stick that probe in his brain? Like, I can get behind that, but like, well, I don't understand why we didn't just put this in somebody that we could control. Because that was the point. In fact, the first thing he says when you said, do you have somebody that you could use? He said, you're not going to like it.
Yeah.
Well, then obviously we're not going to like it. It's going to go badly. Let's prepare for this a little. If they had handled Pope or Jericho a little differently, maybe the movie wouldn't have gone off.
Oh, definitely. And I think that first scene between Gary Oldman and Jericho was definitely a key component to him shutting down.
Yeah. And I don't know. Like, you give the poor guy some medicine so his head stops hurting.
Right.
That's got to be terrible. And you help him understand what's going on.
And try to remember.
And you try and appeal to the side of him that's Billy Pope instead of screaming at him.
The side that is the, murderous, villainous guy.
Yeah, yeah. So, I don't know. Like, we have pointed out and really been on top of these issues, but it really was not a bad one.
And it just kind of made me think, like, that scene made me think, what type of relationship did they have? What type of relationship did Pope and Gary Oldman have?
We never see it. We never see that. Yeah.
He comes in there and he's screaming at Jericho, saying, "You're Billy Pope. You're Billy Pope." Well, would you have screamed at Billy Pope like this? Is this how you would talk to him or have a relationship with him? And if it is, if it isn't, then why aren't you using that approach to try to bring Billy Pope out?
Yeah,
more?
Yeah. I think we've talked. Over the movie.
I mean, we could go over the psychological implications forever.
If this movie sounds like something you'd like to watch, I highly suggest it.
Definitely.
If you've heard this and said, I like spy movies, I highly suggest, because I really enjoy it, Sum of All Fears with Ben Affleck as Jack Ryan.
Right.
I think it's a solid one. We both like Spy Game. Mm-hmm. And then Shirley, you're a big fan of the Bourne quintuplets or whatever they are now.
No, actually, I haven't really seen them. The only one I saw was the one with Jeremy Renner.
Really?
Yeah.
I could have sworn you'd seen the other ones.
Mm-mm. I haven't seen them in their entirety.
Wow, Matt Damon's really good at the Bourne movies.
The thing is, they're very, very tropey, and I think I tried to watch the first one, and I was just like, this is just like every other spy movie. So
it's different though. We'll watch it sometime.
I didn't watch it. But the one with Jeremy Renner, I like Rachel Weisz and Jeremy Renner, so I watched that one in its entirety, and I liked it.
Yeah, yeah. If you like,
it's a struggle.
Speaking of Rachel Weisz, because we're going to connect these movies, hold on.
Uh-oh.
If you like what Rachel Weisz, you liked her in The Mummy, the guy, the prison warden from The Mummy.
Oh, yes.
Was in Spy Game, and, that was fun.
That was very interesting. I liked them. Everybody looked so young in that film.
Yeah, I know. It was 2001.
Yeah.
2001. So, yeah. So good movies that we got to see.
Mm-hmm.
Highly suggest them. If anybody has some suggestions for spy movies that they think are worthwhile, or something starring Kevin Costner or Gary Oldman or Gal Gadot. If you have a Gal Gadot movie that you think that we should watch, definitely let us know. We'd love that kind of input. You can always email us over at nerdsdomain@gmail.com, giving us that information. Or you can tweet it at us or get over on Facebook and send it to us there. It's facebook.com/nerdsdomain or at nerdsdomain on Twitter. Don't forget we have a Patreon. That's kind of important.
And we just started putting tidbits out on Clamor.
We did. We just started doing Clamor stuff. You're actually going to probably, if you look at Facebook or Twitter, you'll see a Clamor for this before it officially goes up probably about 10 minutes before it officially goes up, depending on the upload time. But we will put out something for that. And then the last thing that I always encourage our listeners to do is if you have a chance, go over to iTunes. Give us a 5-star rating over there.
Yes, please. I'm not sure people will understand how important that is.
Yeah.
We had a couple fans this week talk to us about that, and then give us some ratings and gave us a couple reviews. So iTunes reviews definitely very important to get us up there so we can be seen.
Yeah, get us up there to be seen, and then that way we get more people listening, which something profit. And I think it's just like the underpants gnomes out of South Park. Step 1, steal underpants. Step 2, I don't know. Step 3, profit. We're working on step 2. You're step 1. Get over to iTunes, give us some ratings. Otherwise, any last thoughts on the movie from you, Shirley?
No. If you like spy movies or political drama, things like that, definitely take a look at this one.
Absolutely. And next week you're going to hear us do our movie draft, which we actually recorded a couple weeks ago.
Ooh, yes.
So check that out.
Very exciting.
Next week actually starts our official summer movie with Ratchet and Clank. No, I'm sorry. It's the one Huntsman.
The Huntsman.
Is it the Huntsman?
It is the Huntsman.
It's the Huntsman, which is a prequel to Snow White and the Huntsman.
Yes.
So that starts on the 22nd, and then on the 29th. Yes, the 29th is Ratchet and Clank.
Okay. So it's got Charlize Theron, the Thor guy, and
that other person.
The other woman that I can never remember her name. It's not Emma Stone.
Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt. Why? I always want to call her Emma.
Yeah. So check out the movie draft, and otherwise we will talk to you guys real soon.